Welcome back. So today I will be reviewing the Lyoko LE S3, the non-pro model, the base model. So I've had this phone for about 2 days now since I received this since I got it in my hands, and I have been using it for 2 days. As my daily driver, as I bought it for that purpose. So I'll give you guys a full review right now. So let's start off with connectivity. Connectivity has been just as advertised. They advertise it as US being compatible with all carriers. And I'm coming from AT&T. I'm coming from a LG G3. As you can see, AT&T LTE. I've had no issues with it. A lot of Chinese manufacturers really don't implement the LTE. So that's one of the biggest drawbacks from buying from a Chinese manufacturer, that you don't know if all your bands are gonna be working, or you just don't want to. You want to have 4G LTE, the fastest speeds wherever you're at, regardless of what bands they connect to and which not. But in this one, I have seen no differences connectivity wise. It works at my job just the same. It works at my school just the same. It works wherever I'm at on my data. It works great actually, and so I left the stock launcher, which was the EUI, for about 6 hours. I couldn't stand it. I gave it a try. I couldn't stand it, but luckily this is Android, so you don't have to stick with that. This is why I love Android, because you could change the launcher. I didn't even go that far into it, because as of right now, I don't think there's any custom ROMs on this. So what I did was just slap a Google Now launcher, and it works quite well. One thing I couldn't stand with the original launcher I came with, you see this right here, this live button. It's like their live application. It's kind of like their streaming service. It had it right here, dead center in the middle, instead of the app drawer, and it didn't have an app drawer. So one thing, I've always been on Android. I always look for that app drawer. That's one of my favorite things about Android. You get very minimalistic. I really don't play too many games. Not a real big heavy user on apps. So it's like I just keep it clean. I keep it real simple. Keep it to just the necessities to what I use, and then I keep the whole mess in the app drawer. And that's one thing I really miss, and I moved away from that with that other launcher, and I didn't like it at all. Slap the Google Now on launcher just for now until there is custom ROMs. Hopefully CyanogenMod makes one, or any reputable developers that make a ROM, because I'm really looking forward to what they can do with this phone. But so that's just the launcher. Let's go into the settings. One thing is that the button layout, it's the circle, square, and then triangle. So your back, your home, and then your options. One thing about this, when you slide down, it has no utility bars, what we're used to seeing on LG or on Samsung. Instead, you got press that, and then it'll take you to it. So you have two. This is something I like particularly. I don't know what other people think about it, but I like. So you have your toolbar up here. You got plenty of tools, and then you have your toolbar down here. More of your statuses, and then you have your brightness slider from here to there. So this is and then you have your recent apps right here at the bottom. So I mean, it's for some it could be a little bit too much. You just close them regular like that, and then you can lock them so they don't go away. So for a lot of people, they would say this is too much. It reminds them, too much of the older days of Android, really overcomplicated. Kind of reminds me of Jelly Bean / KitKat, where they had, when you pressed it for the recent apps, it'll give you a lot of options. It was very overwhelming at first, but I tend to like it, and a lot of you guys are probably familiar with the Google Now launcher. So it's just looks like stock Android, but it's just a launcher. All your OS on top is still the same. So for the hardware I gotta say is one of the best parts of this phone. This really, when you hold it in your hand, it doesn't feel like a $250 phone, let alone a $150 phone. It really feels something premium, So you got that chamfered edge, and you got these two metallic bands running across. It's real nice. You can see it right there. Two metallic bands running across. Then you have your antenna lines, kind of reminiscent of the M, the M line from HTC, and then the iPhone, obviously the iPhone 6 lines, and then you got the camera, kind of reminds you of the OnePlus 3, and then you got the fingerprint reader, and then you got the dual LED. I think about the fingerprint reader, it is recessed, it is easy to find. The fingerprint reader, I wouldn't say is the fastest on any phone I've used. I recently had the S7 not too long ago, a real fast fingerprint reader. iPhone 6S, real fast fingerprint reader. I haven't used the iPhone 7, but I can imagine the fingerprint readers are very fast, or some of the fastest. And when it comes to smartphones. The LGs, my girlfriend got the LG G5. That one's a pretty quick one. The LG G5 is a button. This one is not a button. It's just recessed, and you can just lay your finger on it, and it unlocks it and everything, or you could go to the lock screen and unlock it from there. It's fast. I would say it's fast. Not the fastest, but it is really fast. But another thing I like about this, it has a good weight to it. They're saying the Pro weighs a little bit more. I haven't had that one in hand, but it has a really good weight to it. The screen. Let's get to the screen. So the screen, I'm coming from an LG G3. So coming from that Quad HD to a Full HD panel, I want to say I can't see the difference, but I can. Even coming from a panel that's 2 years old now, about to be 3, I can tell the difference when it comes to pixels per inch, and it's just, you're going from a Quad HD display to this. You could tell the difference in some aspects, but not for the daily user. You can't really see it. It's only when if you're going the VR way, then yeah, Quad HD is definitely better. That's the go-to right now. So 1080p is still usable, extremely usable for everyday people, and people like me. I'm not really into gaming and all that. So, but still, some games don't even really optimize for that resolution. The color is I had to change the setting. It was somewhat dull for my liking. I liked it on saturating. I liked it a little bit more saturated than with the UI originally had it. Let me go to the settings. Display. Smart enhancement. I turned on color mode. So I went to color mode. This is on vivid, so high color saturation. It came originally with Lyoko's, but that kind of seemed kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. So I went straight to vivid. Okay. And, it's deeper red. You see that YouTube logo, much deeper red. It has deep colors, not deep black. So obviously it's an IPS display, not an AMOLED display. But I have no complaints when it comes to, it's nice. Almost bezel-less. Like I said, the LG G3 I was used to, like that was as close as you can to bezel-less. This one's pretty bezel-less. It does have a black bar around it, but you get used to seeing that. Wait, let me see the black bar around it. So, it's something you get used to, but it's still a real nice display. Speed issues, it is pretty snappy. Like I said, it's just Snapdragon 862. These mid-range Qualcomm Snapdragon chips have become so powerful that I think that if you're not heavily gaming, not heavily multitasking, not running multiple apps at the same time, they basically keep up with the flagship. You won't be able to tell much difference, but you could keep up with a lot of flagships, probably from last year. Probably the Galaxy S6. Oh no, that one has the Exynos. But a lot of previous year's flagship models, and I'm actually surprised at how quick it is. It is really, really fast. I have no stutter, no hiccups. Just the only thing I do see, this model comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So when I go to the task manager, it says I have 1.1 gig of RAM available. I think RAM management is not that great on this phone. So as you clear up, it's still the same 1.1 gig of out of the 3. RAM management is not the best on this phone, but that's not something a little software update could do, or unless a custom ROM. Maybe the EUI is really heavily. It's a heavy user 1.3 now since we cleared all those apps. So even running nothing, just a Google Now launcher and a couple of services, it's still 1.3. It's running with more than half of its RAM available. So I think that comes to a criticism of Android running on, it takes a lot more power hungry OS. So maybe with maybe if they update theirs, or if when the custom ROM comes out, switch it out, and maybe better RAM management for one of these other developers ROMs. And so battery life, what can I say about battery life? It worked really well for the 2 days. It's according around 5 o'clock. I left the house around 7 a.m. with about like 70%. So 30% is really good. Since this is Marshmallow, it's running, has that doze feature. So battery life is really well. So now that we're on battery life, let's talk about charging. So this does have Qualcomm 3.0. As you can see, this power brick is massive. It is massive, but it gets the job done. It charges as advertised again. Couple of minutes, you can go from 0 to 33. I think they said in 15 minutes or something around that range, and it does work that well. The Type-C connector and Qualcomm's 3.0 quick charge does really work really, really well. And I know another question everyone's been asking: or they want to know is a lot of people didn't know this didn't have a headphone jack. If you guys really didn't research, it doesn't have a headphone jack. It came with these headphones, USB Type C headphones, kind of like the Apple. You know, they have the lightning cable. So, and when you plug it in, I guess I don't know if this is for. It says CDLA HD mode enabled. So I guess you can improve your listening experience, just like Apple saying that theirs is better than the analog. And and these headphones actually light up, like a little orange, but they are extremely uncomfortable. This plastic is very cheap, very cheap. It's not soft at all. It's very hard. They're very uncomfortable. But it doesn't matter to me. I use wireless Bluetooth headphones anyways. But quality on them is subpar, or probably just you get what you get when you pay for this phone at this low price range. I guess I had to take a price cut. They had to take a shortcut to lower the price. They had to cut it somewhere, and probably the accessories. But not to take away from them, but the case they send is you get bang for your buck, and then the plastic screen. Somebody told me in the comments that theirs got a tempered glass screen, and they ordered a separate temper. Mine just came with the plastic. I haven't taken it off yet because why. So let's get into the breakdown. So again, just to recap, it came with the headphones, came with that. Oh, there's my AT&T SIM card, the SIM tool. And that's all it came with. But again, big value for your money, for your dollar. It really stretches out your dollar for a lot, especially at the $150 price range. The main competitors in this price range, at its normally priced, like I said, it's $250. At its normal price range, I think it competes with the blue Vivo 5R. That was a big hit. That one's at $200. The Honor, I think the 6X now, that's another big competitor in the $200 price range. Or even the Honor 5X, if you compare it at the $150. I think some places have the Honor 5X for, I think, like $150, $160, which is still a good deal from Huawei and their Honor line, their sub line. Oh, the buttons are real tactile too. Have a real good click to feel. They don't feel all that mushy. And power button, you got the volume rockers, and that's about it. Real clean design. And the speaker goes. Oh, and I did find out it does have Dolby Atmos, but it's not stereo speakers or even stereo bottom facing speakers. Only this one is a speaker. This one isn't. I think this is a mic and then just a grill guard to keep it, looking symmetric. But it isn't two speakers. It isn't surround sound. But it is Dolby Atmos sound. And I thought only the Pro was gonna have that, but I guess it didn't. So let me see if I can find it. Dolby Atmos. There you go. Let me see if I can. When I have it on, and then CDLA headphones, and it says it will increase battery drainage because it's better quality. It doesn't cut out much of the data. But for this phone, the camera that it does come with, it's a 16 megapixel rear camera and then an 8 megapixel front shooter. And for the camera, the software is first of all, I'm not a big camera guy. I had the LG G3, and what I loved it was the laser autofocus. But again, I don't really take that much photos. The photos, it is what it is on the 16 megapixel shooter. It focused reasonably fast for not being an autofocus. Like video wise, it's a little bit grainy, I would say. Yeah, I'm not one to complain about grains, considering like my first video was super grainy. But it has a simple mode. It's a little bit too simplistic for me. Like, even though when I do take photos, I know how to calibrate the white balance, the shutter speed, the ISO, and all that. So coming from that to having something manual to this is kind of simplistic. But again, maybe with a software up there with a custom ROM, that will all change. So quality wise, I mean it won't blow anything away. It's not gonna blow away the Galaxy S7 Edge, or even the OnePlus 3. That's a respectable camera, or any of the Pixel cameras. It is what it is at this price range. Where people have to make price cuts. So I wouldn't say it's really like a price cut. Just kind of middle of the pack camera. Some people might say it's really well. Some people might say it's not that bad, but I think it's middle of the pack. I haven't really taken any photos with it. It's one photo, but like I said, it's not really something to blow your socks off or anything. And then the front camera. So the front camera is that, and You know, like again, like I said, it's nothing to blow your socks away. It's, you know, real simple camera. 8 megapixel camera, but like again, I said, I really don't take that much photos anyways, even on my old LG G3. So that's the camera. Overall, I could say at $150, I'm very happy I made this purchase and made this my daily driver. Even at $250, I wouldn't be mad. Just, you know, sweeter that I got it $150, $100 less that I saved off. Really nice quality build, real nice hand feel, like in-hand feel. Really nice, real nice premium build. Like there's aspect wise, it looks really nice. I think the Pro Model is a little bit more shinier. I'm not really into that whole shiny. I like more of that flat metal look, that real industrial look. But again, for $150, you can't really compete. And also, a lot of what his competitors have, they don't have that Snapdragon, you know, that mid-range chip. They usually have their in-house chips. I think a couple, aside from a couple of smartphones, but most of them have, you know, their in-house chips. And, you know, really having that name of Qualcomm to back up your phone, I think that's really well chip-wise because, you know, they do make their flagship offerings, you know, the 821, the Snapdragon 820, and I think the 652 is really well, especially for this price range. And so, yeah, I'm happy I made this purchase. Anyone who wants to buy this phone, they are doing another flash sale, I believe, November 9th. So in about 4 days. So be on the lookout again. For a $150 phone, you can't go wrong. And thank you guys. This is my review. And if you guys have any questions or any comments, put them down in the YouTube comments section. If you guys have any like particular questions I didn't cover, just write down in the section. Oh, I did forget how people are going to say, you know, graphic. I do play somewhat of Pokemon Go. It works just fine on it. I guess that's like the new standard to see if your phone can somewhat of 3D gaming and all that. It works just fine. Honestly, I don't see no difference, again, from my LG G3 to this. I don't think this is even optimized to run in Quad HD. So it runs really well, real fast, no problems or anything. Loaded up that fast. So Pokestop. Too far away. Well, this is my review, guys. Thank you for sticking around this long. And again, any questions, comments, put them down in the YouTube comment section below. Thank you.